team. We're out there helping them sell their product.
And have you decided which way you're going yet?
You know, it's interesting. I haven't. My friend was on vacation, so my partner was on vacation. I sent him an email on Thursday, and he said, I'm in Cancun, and I'll look at it when I get back. And I said, you shouldn't even have looked at it yet. But
now with the new tax plan,
do
do you think more people will be doing LLCs so they can have more of a tax?
More of the pass-through?
Yeah, so now that people can't write off expenses, certainly in California, with SALT the way we were before.
I don't know. I think you don't want the tax tail wagging the dog. I think you would look at things like, how can you divvy up ownership?
I've never heard that expression.
Sorry.
I like it.
But sometimes I've done it, where I made decisions based on maximizing or minimizing my tax impact, and it was not the right decision because I saved a small amount of money and then I was hampered in things I wanted to do. I think you really want to look at, are we going to give employees ownership? Yes or no? If you are, then you probably don't want to do an LLC. What kind of investors are we going to take on? If you're going to take sophisticated investors, they won't invest in an LLC, so that would be a reason to not do it. I think it's those things that would drive it, not the tax treatment.
Yeah, I think that's great. Hey, John, you have a blog. People can find out more about your thinking mind. It's johngreathouse.com. Is that right?
Yes, that is right.
And spelled exactly how it sounds.
But everyone thinks, G-R-A, what? It's Greathouse, Greathouse.
And I wonder what the origin of that in your family is. Did you ever
Somebody
explore
was probably a wonderful builder.
Yeah.
It's interesting. My dad was into genealogy pre-internet, and he did a lot of research. It was a German gentleman, and it's been anglicized to American, so it was like Grossenhausen.
And was he a builder?
That part we never got.
No, because usually with the European names, that's how it worked. My middle name is Walker, and in fact, my relatives used to walk the sheep. So that was the job.
That's why John. That's why
John was building. You were building great houses.
He didn't pass that gene along to me. But.
That's why Jane can't stop walking. All right.
I love walking.
We are going to wrap things up for today, but we're going to see you next week. And if people want their questions read on the air, they can go to coworkradio.com. Don't forget John's blog also at johngreathouse.com. And we will see you next week, John.
Great. Thank you so much.
You are listening to KZSB 1290, and we'll be back right after this.
Hi, I'm Dan Farrick, Managing Director of the Impact Hub Santa Barbara. Come visit us and find out why co-working spaces are booming. Our 2 locations in the Funk Zone and downtown Santa Barbara offer private offices, permanent desks, and a variety of co-working memberships starting as low as $60 a month. Mention Co-work Radio when you book our tour, and we'll give you 10% off your first 6 months of membership. Join a community where you can live and work smart. Go to ImpactHubSB.com or call 284-0078 to find out more.
The Central Coast may seem laid back, but when it's time to work, no one works harder, including the bank that's grown up here. Montecito Bank and Trust offers customized lending and banking for all businesses, big and small. It's harder than offering one-size-fits-all solutions, but it's the right thing to do. And here, getting things right is a way of life. Montecito Bank and Trust. Behind every great community is a great bank. Montecito.bank. Member FDIC.
Hi, it's Catherine Raymock. Are you buying or selling a home? See Compass Realtor Terry Ryken. I went to Terry because of his reputation and experience, but was quickly taken by his genuine enthusiasm. It's that combination that truly sets him apart. Terry specializes in properties in Montecito, Hope Ranch, Santa Barbara, and Santa Ynez Valley, and has 39 years of experience as an agent and broker. There are so many realtors to choose from, but only one Terry Ryken. Find out for yourself. Google search Terry Ryken.
Koto Group. We are a boutique property management firm located here in the Central Coast. We are small enough to prioritize your business and large enough to match the right tenants with your property. Koto Group. We work for you 24/7 with around-the-clock marketing and emergency service. At Koto Group, we use leading-edge software, making us efficient and cost-effective. Koto Group. Property management for the 21st century.
Welcome back to Co-work Radio. I'm Jane Walker-Wood.
And I'm Catherine Raymock.
And we have in the studio with us today Noah Dentzel, and he co-founded Hello Nomad, which is an innovative mobile device accessories company. He started this with his partner, Brian, in a Kickstarter in 2012. And anybody who's ever worried about their iPhone running out, well, you don't have to. You can just go to hellonomad.com. How are you doing there, Noah?
Catherine and Jane, thanks for having me on the show. Doing great.
Well, thank you for being here. You know, Catherine and I are big long-distance hikers, and a couple summers ago we went to Wales, and we didn't know you were supposed to bring an iPhone charger, and we ran out of cell phone in the middle of nowhere, and some guy came out of the haze, and he had it plugged in to his waist, and we're like, oh, great idea. Well, you started this great idea in 2012. How'd you come up with the idea?
Well, I guess it was similar to some of the problems you experienced there. Something that we've learned is that your phone will constantly die on you. And I was living in Spain at the time, had a spark of an idea to have a super portable cable on you could keep with you at all times. I came back to Santa Barbara, met up with a really great guy, Brian Hahn, who was living on a boat in the harbor. We had what we call kind of business chemistry. And with that idea and, two excited people behind it, we started coming up with all sorts of ways to keep your charged phone. So when you're hiking in Wales, we probably have 5 to 10 different ways to kind of keep you charged. And believe me, this day and age, you need at least a few.
It is now the first thing that the toothbrush and the phone we pack in the morning, for sure.
It is. Hey, you were kind of that guy. So before we talk about how your company has expanded, which it has tremendously, I'm going to take you back, 5 years or so. So you were actually living in your grandmother's basement. It's not as bad as it sounds, but you were, right?
I was living in my grandma's basement, and basements have a way of kind of keeping you staying up late thinking about how you're going to get out of that basement.
Right.
And that was in the early formidable days of this project, which we ended up launching on Kickstarter. And that kind of, once we started going public with fundraising and so forth, kind of had to get out of the basement. And, as they say, the rest is history. Here we are today, 6 years later.
How did you approach getting on Kickstarter? Because, everybody wants to get on Kickstarter, and they think that'll solve all their business problems. What's it really like?
So the first rule of advice there is that you're going to have to work for it. And it's not as easy as launching something and just sort of letting it run with itself. I had heard about Kickstarter while I was living in Spain. It was an exciting new thing and kind of thought that that's a cool way to bring a product to market. We've probably all had ideas before and came back here. Brian had, saw that same vision of opportunity there. A lot of people told us actually to not do Kickstarter. At the time in 2012, it wasn't what it is today as a known, path to the market. So when we did it, people were saying, well, why don't you do VC and angel money? And those same people later on said, hey, sorry, we were wrong.
Your original product was a charger that looked similar to a credit card, right? And it was popular, but not as popular as some of your items now. What were some of the issues with that?
Well, it actually did really well in its heyday, and I think part of that was attributed to we presented that thing as if we had it was the end-all cure to all your problems. We were pretty excited about it, and that kind of passion and energy really drives a company in the early stages. It's important to believe in what you're doing. Some of our later products that we've been coming out with that have been doing really well, and maybe unexpectedly to some listeners, is Apple Watch. We've found a lot of opportunity in the Apple Watch space, and we were a very early player there in 2015. We came out with some cool charging products for the Apple Watch, and today we have a lot of straps and for the nice leather wristbands. We also continue to innovate in the cable space. There's a lot of opportunity to. You
brought a lot of products with you, which unfortunately people can't see on radio. But one of my favorite ones is this one that attaches my keys, because that way I go home, I basically plug my keys in to get the battery recharged. I always know where my keys are, and then I can charge my phone wherever I am. That's brilliant.
So that product is, I tell people that if you own an iPhone, you should own one of these. You should also have a regular cable. You should have some other stuff, but there's no reason not to carry it. It fits on your keychain. You already bring your cable with you, your keys with you. Why not also have it? It's kind of like a jumper cable. It's with you when you need it. out of your way when you don't. That was one of our cute
Now, are
little
you
sayings.
finding, because in California, we just had all these disasters, and because of my hiking, I have about 5 versions of these in the house, some that turn into radios, others that turn to flashlights. Are you finding you're selling a lot more now with all the disasters that seem to be happening?
That's a good question for us to look into, and I know that in situations like this, our people really do end up relying on their phones a lot, and I've no doubt that in the region we are seeing a lot of reliance on our products. Yeah, it's hard to say specifically, but it's a good thing to look into.
One of the things that I think really sets you apart is the quality. The leather that you are working with the strap on the Apple Watch, and then also you've got a wallet, the Nomad wallet, that is looks like it's almost like a half a wallet folded over, just enough for money and credit cards. And then it's got the charger there as well, but just beautiful leather. I mean, you can even smell it. You were working with whom on this, and how did you get this idea?
We're using it. You're right. We're using some really great leather, and it's not exactly cheap, but it's absolutely worth it. And when you touch it and feel it, when you smell it, there's sort of a visceral experience, and you can just tell that it's great stuff. It's from a tannery called Horween out of Chicago. They're the oldest continually operated tannery in the United States, and they, starting in 1905, still run by the family today. Their leather's used in NFL footballs and NBA basketballs and Nomad chargers.
Well, I wanted to touch the wallet, but Catherine's not actually letting me. Yeah, she's busy over there feeling it. It's, again, for those of you who can't see, it's a really sturdy, it's the kind of leather that just gets better and better over time. Is that part of your concept, is that I can take this out to do sports, and I can take this hiking, and I can throw it across the room, it'll just look better and better?
So we say that it develops a patina that is uniquely yours, and depending on the environment you use the leather products in, they're going to develop their own unique patina over time, and one that's used in the Midwest or in Canada in the north or further south, you'll get different humidity levels and different environmental factors that will contribute to a generally very nice patina, but they'll often, each one will look a little different from the other over time, which is kind of nice.
How long do I get on my iPhone with this wallet?
You're going to charge on an iPhone 8 about maybe 75, 80%. It depends on which iPhone you're on, but it gives you a good solid boost.
When you're working with products that go hand in hand with Apple, and not so much the charger, anybody can develop a charger, but a strap for the Apple Watch. How much do you get into any kind of licensing issues with Apple themselves, or have you has that been an issue at all?
So yeah, Apple is definitely a tricky one to work with. They don't provide a ton of information, but they do provide quite a few strict guidelines that you need to adhere to. So we follow those guidelines, and with our Apple Watch straps, for example, we build our lugs custom to adhere to those. And if you don't follow their guidelines, you'll probably be hearing from them.
Now, how do you compete with iPhone? I mean, obviously they're a $1 trillion company now, or they were until a few days ago. How do you even compete with them? Because anything you can do, can't they just do it more expensively?
So we've had to list down before for various things who are your competitors, and there's nothing more fun than writing down Apple as a competitor. They're a little bit bigger than us, but I've told this to actually senior executives from Apple before that we make really cool and innovative products that in some of them are actually better than the cables that they make. Not because there's a quality issue so much as if you look at this cable I have here, it's called our universal cable. This does things that theirs doesn't. We have integrated a USB-C and a micro USB charger. So this will charge an iPhone. It'll also charge an Android, and you can even charge a new MacBook with this. So we kind of bring a bit of innovative flair to the table.
Wow. I don't think Apple wants you to be charging Androids. But I have one of actually these at home, and it is so durable, this cable, compared to, the iPhone cable that keeps breaking off, and then I'm taping it up with my electrical tape. These really last.
Yeah, I think that Apple embraces the fact that companies like Nomad are working to build an ecosystem of products to give customers of all activities and lifestyles products that work for them. They recognize that they need to cover the basics, but they do encourage ultimately companies like ours to round it out.
Part of the reason that we wanted to gear this show for the modern entrepreneur and bring in company founders was to give some advice. And you were saying something so interesting off the air that you got caught up in this whole we got to be in San Francisco thing. And although it might have worked to your favor for a little bit of time, it was like, nah. So what do you have to say to somebody that thinks, I've got to go to San Francisco if I'm doing something in tech?
You can go to